Mr. Jero, you are asking that all arrears of salaries owed be paid. Yeah? I assume that part of these salaries you are asking to be paid is the minimum wage. So some have not even been able to pay the minimum wage. They're owing on it. And you're talking about increase in the minimum wage.
Well, I think they are separate. The salary being paid now in some places they are in arrears.
And some of them is the 18,000 naira minimum wage.
Yeah, already in arrears,
okay,
like rightly pointed out. And in some states like Imo, you know, they're paying them maybe 70% of their salaries all these years.
70% of 18,000.
Yeah, that's what they're paying them. So, and if you calculate it for maybe the past 2 years or so, you discover that 30% is still pending. And some other states, they're owing them about 5 months or so, Kogi and few others. Those are the arrears. And then the issue of minimum wage is separate, you know, on the issue of discussing another minimum wage. You know, so these are two different things.
Yes, my point is, now these states cannot pay 18, and you want to ask them to pay more than 18.
The issue is not that they can't pay 18. Like somebody say we're out of recession. We're not out of leadership recession. You know, so it is the leadership recession that is keeping us where we are. Where you don't have states where you don't have that leadership recession, they are paying. Without any mention of states, I can tell you that Anambra State never owed any worker up to this moment.
No, but there was a time Anambra State also increased by 15%.
That's the point I'm making.
If you they pay more than 18,
yes,
and they're able to pay.
Yes, and those states then
increase.
And those states then under Adam started paying 25,000 minimum wage as of today. So what is happening in other states? Is it that the money they collect is higher than others? So that's why I'm telling you that some people will have their priorities wrong, and we should address this. And you can't, because they say they are not paying 18,000. Workers live perpetually on 18,000 when inflation and the so-called recession has eaten up.
Yeah, but again, let me advise, because I usually have issue with labor asking for increment in the minimum wage and all that.
Okay.
You know, there are other ways you can ask, you know, make your demand rather than say, okay, increase minimum wage. What happens? We know we have not recovered from Udoji award in 1973.
If that award wasn't there, people could have equally stolen that money.
Yes, they could have stolen that money, quite all right. But the point is that labor should be asking for more, you know, things that, okay, bring the transportation. If the fuel price comes down, transportation will be cheaper. So labor will be, the money is spent.
Labor should be asking for infrastructure.
Yes, that is what labor should be asking for. Not being selfish about the minimum wage increment and all that. If you ask for, okay, labor should ask for opportunity to have their own homes. Workers should have their own homes, okay? Just like what is done in Singapore, for instance, okay? So that way, the rent that you pay, they may pay you 100,000 a month minimum wage, but the money goes. It goes to some other things.
Let me help you there. You see, where government declares clearly that it has no business in business, and I'm saying this, and that even the issue of schools, roads, electricity is not their business. Now, it will be contradictory for labor to now say, this is what you have to do. Because even some of those areas, government is already withdrawing from them. The issue of transportation, all these areas you are mentioning, and the inflation created by government has gotten to a level that the 18,000 you say we should not ask for is not enough for you to buy a bag of rice. So in such a situation, do you continue to pontify, to say, construct road, do this? You have to be alive before those things are provided.
No, but why don't you ask for organizations, just like some of these embassies, what they do, they look at the inflationary effects on the economy and the workers and all that. At times they give us allowances, maybe transport, maybe increase it from, you know, 1,000 to 1,500, until things improve.
Okay. Those are all right, Mr. Jero. The question is, why won't labor ask or demand, instead of saying increase our money? I'm not saying now pay the arrears. We've handled that part. Let's look at the part of saying increase minimum wage, for instance, which is part of your demand. Why don't labor say, government, we need you to build these structures, enhance that structure. Hold on. You know, you said they are pulling out. Before we know you want to pull out, before you pull out, we need this and that structures built so that we can manage the money, the 18,000 naira that we are being paid completely.
You see, if you go that way, we'll be getting it wrong. Let me tell you this. Part of our demand was roads, and we articulated there, especially these ones leading to depots. And you know what that means, the fuel train you are talking of, clearly. Now here, in this Channels TV, you can tell Nigerians how many times I came here to fight against privatization. Here, I think I was almost synonymous with it. That if you privatize electricity, the tariff will be high, all this. And the same thing with other sectors. As we talk now, those in aviation and all, they are talking about concession and privatization. And now when other Nigerians now say, oh, privatize them, it will be affordable, it will be available. And in the case of NEPA, government privatized with the military under gunpoint. And when that happens, do you now turn to tell Labour that they never asked of it? You can't accuse some of us.
No, but let me just say the benefits. Let me just say the benefits of privatization. You know, the whole thing about privatization is supposed to actually to unleash the economy. So, yes, and to liberalize and regulate, so that there'll be competition. You know, I think it was Will Rogers that said that, American philosopher that said that, look, the business of government is for government to get out of business unless business needs government aid.
In a pre-industrialized state?
Yeah. So, but the point I'm making is this. The whole privatization thing is supposed to really be good for the economy. But it depends on the way and manner the thing is handled. So, when you say don't privatize NEPA, yes, people have said that the people handling NEPA issue now, the NEPA is in the wrong hands. People that bought up the companies and all that, the licenses to operate, they're in the wrong hands. And that if you have...
back to what you were saying.
Yes.
The people were not the competent ones.
Exactly. So if, for instance, NEPA, you have a master strategy of how to, provide light to everyone. Then we are struggling to make those that already have national grid, there are NEPA poles and all that. Some villages, some places don't have. So if
the private sector cannot give those...
Yeah, because the thing is faulty from the master plan.
Just in a quick note, sorry my brother, just a quick one. I've never seen any government in the world, pre-industrialization, that privatize. It's usually a post-industrialization concept. You have to develop your place, construct roads, put electricity in place, put communication in place, before you think of who will manage it. These things are not here now.
Yeah, like you rightly said, that government is shying away.
We have some tweets here, and some people are reacting to what you've been saying. Jogun says, Joe Adiro and ULC should align their grievances with that of the NLC and TUC instead of creating confusion. Femo Diban says, I do not see any reason for the strike. They should merge with NLC. So the question is, are your demands aligned with that of the NLC and the TUC, or are they at variance?
Well, I think what we have done was to make demands, and nobody has faulted the demands, whether NLC or TUC. And that's the irony, that these things affect them.
The question, okay, but let's put it another way. Is there a chance that by the time you finish this demand, the NLC or the TUC will come up to make their own demands?
The NLC and TUC cannot make these demands being part of the Ministry of Labour. They can't. That was why you watch them, the ministers spoke, they spoke at the same time. We see them from the workers' perspective as one and the same. So if there is no creation of the ULC and others to agitate for all these things, Nigerians will remain that same way. And I bet you that NLC, which controls some of the public in civil service, cannot at any stage an action. But when they see an action that will lead to the resolution of all this, they go into the issue of legality, and they will tell you that you can't be registered.
Okay. We got to go now. So, in one sentence, please, the way forward, Mr. Ajero.
Well, the way forward is that legitimate demands have been made. Now, you are now looking at both the message and the messenger. We have to look at them holistically, whether that will serve the interests of Nigerians.
Okay. One sentence, please.
Yeah, well, for me, government should learn how to honor any agreement, and also labor should agitate for, other things rather than increment in the basic salaries.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you very much. We have been chatting with the President of the United Labour Congress, Mr. Joe Ajero, as well as Dr. Austin Mweze, lecturer, Pan-Atlantic University. Thank you very much for coming this morning. We'll be right back with another interesting conversation. Join us.